here. Firstly, my gratitude and appreciation to Joseph, and I trust everyone can hear me at the moment. Can everyone hear me is probably the first question. I'm hoping that everyone can see this slide. Could you let me know if you can see this slide?
Yes, we can, sir.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, and I'm talking to you now from Sydney, Australia. It's 7 o'clock in the evening, and I believe it's 11 a.m. in Nigeria. So today, with your indulgence, I'm going to talk about retail survival. I'm going to talk about retailing and share with you what we would call the steps to business fitness. And then I'm happy to take any questions. And I hope by the end of this session, it's of help to you, which is always the ambition. So as was kindly introduced, Retail Doctor Group was set up 16 years ago now. And we've worked with many retailers over many years through all cycles. And the first thing to know is that everything that is occurring is a cycle. And invariably the strong and the resilient and the focused with positive attitudes always win through. And I know from what I read and understand that retail for your good selves has been very challenging, as it is around the world. But there are also many good stories of retail. And it's a story of adaptation, and it's a story of innovation. And I think it's also a story of resilience. So let's talk about retail. I'm going to do this in two ways. Firstly, to talk about the challenges that we face as retailers globally, and what can we do about that. What I call business fitness is the framework or the path to greater retail performance. And what are some of our opportunities for the future? We have had the most incredible and challenging time. COVID aside, we are now firmly in what we would call the fourth industrial revolution. And that revolution is a revolution of technology. So retailers globally are adapting different ways to consider both the growth in online, the need for physical retail, and the marriage, if you like, or the integration of both that we would call omni-channel.
Music licensing reimagined.
Now, why is everything not completely going online? Because the physical experience is the experience of socialization. It is our community. It is where people come to be and to be together and to enjoy inspiration, education, gratification, and enjoy the human experience. Now that has been impacted on, very directly, of course, by the rise of COVID pandemic, which is a cycle, and eventually we will get through this. And they will be all part of the new normal. And so what is the new normal? It's an omni-channel retail environment. It's an environment where retailers are available to their customers 24/7. It's an environment where increasingly technology over the years to come will play an even greater role. Globally, online retail averages, in some countries it differs slightly, about 10% of overall retail spend. Now it's growing at double digits. However, we see globally the average at around 15 to 16%, depending on your category, and that physical retail will still be the vast majority of retail. But these are times to make bold moves. Now we have shoppers or customers who can do business with us 24/7. How we innovate, how we differentiate, how we bring customers to our door and ourselves to their door is the key. And we've grown up, of course, in retail, very much learning about and practicing how to bring customers to our door, if you like, or to our brand. Now it's about bringing our brand to the people. And what we're seeing consistently
Music
around the world
licensing reimagined.
is retail businesses thinking omni-channel. This example of IKEA, who I think are a very progressive Swedish-based furniture shop globally, business, using stores for e-commerce, online fulfillment, drive-through for customers, click and collect, I order online, I pick up in store, contactless deliveries, I pick up outside the store, and of course, the rise of apps, mobile apps. And so retailers are looking at their point of sale system, their physical point of sale system. They're making more cloud-based inventory recording, if you like. They're thinking about data more than ever.
Music licensing
Data is the oil.
reimagined.
And if you look at the top 5 companies in the world, Facebook, Google, Apple, and so forth, and Amazon, their capital value is largely predicated on their data. So if you're a small retailer through to a large retailer, collecting customer database, segmenting that, giving your customers more personalized data-enriched experiences is one of the waves that we're seeing, the trends, using technology. Is Atomic Books in the United States. People can't come in because of COVID at the moment, so they're adapting. Curbside pickup, free local delivery. They're looking at their business and saying, if I can't bring people into my
Music
shop,
licensing
how do I bring
reimagined.
my shop to the people? And this is one of these adaptive pieces that I'm talking about. We'll see more and more partnerships as organizations, particularly suppliers,
Artlist.io.
start to come together to collaborate. So I'm talking about innovation, adaptation, collaboration. Some of the key things of retail and surviving retail. Here in the United States, Los Angeles wine
Music
shop Tilda
licensing
finds
reimagined.
human connection in the contactless buying experience. So the use of personal imagery, voice, hot phones, hotlines, using apps, creating an experience that is still interesting, still relevant, and perhaps not quite as humanized, if you like. Here's Shop Safe app. It lets you see how crowded your nearby supermarket is and the items still. The Shop Safe app sees how crowded your nearby supermarket is and the items that are still available. And I'm not for a moment saying that it is not challenging. It is challenging. And the theme of your conference, and very nicely introduced by Joseph,
Music licensing
is one of
reimagined.
adaptation and meeting challenges. And you've had many challenges. And certainly that will progress. Here's Uber Eats, delivery hero, branching out to supply groceries to people that were stuck at home at the height of the New York pandemic. Here in Australia, beauty brands such as DCM and
Artlist.io.
Keel turn their retail teams into virtual consultants. Using an app, and apps are still reasonably inexpensive to build, using their website, using a portal, making, we have over here, for example,
Music
you
licensing
can ring the retail
reimagined.
store, or you could visit them virtually, and of course you can have private appointments depending on your business offer. Here's another adaptation. In China, the startup UDI deploying
Artlist.io.
robot vehicles to safely deliver food. Here's a Spanish website that helps people connect with nearby shops. Innovative self-serve technologies by Alibaba, Meituan, and others are on the rise in
Licensing
China.
reimagined.
So retailers around the world are continuing to adapt, to think about it differently. Here is Buca, the Italian restaurant in Canada. They have converted their offer to a home delivery offer with their new pasta kit, available for pickup and deliveries. In Australia, Camellia the fashion businesses, new online platform and smart store initiative with one-on-one personal styling sessions by appointment, wardrobe advice, and gifting services. 7-Eleven in Australia, the convenience store, the grocery convenience store, a global business, launches Melbourne's delivery service. Now, before COVID came, 7-Eleven were not doing home delivery services. They weren't catering for a different audience, but they thought outside the box. And they said, if we have to close now, we have to adapt. Chic, a business we've done work with, launches a ladies' fashion business, launches online stylists and keeps customers connected for best working from home style. So photographs of customers, gamifying it, making it fun, making it interesting, and above all, keeping their brand offer unique.
Music licensing
This is
reimagined.
Elena Maro. It's a fashion chain in Italy. And here they've looked at their store and they've done a few things. They've changed the layout to be socially distant when they could open.
Artlist.io.
Allow people to be socially distant. They've worked on their online catalog. They have less items displayed in the store. And in their case, they've got a kiosk, a screen inside the store, which shows you their online range of products.
Music licensing.
So they've got what we're
reimagined.
calling endless aisle. So they've taken their inventory, and in fact, in their case, their suppliers, the customer places an order at the online portal, and it goes straight to the supplier's inventory. Supplier supplies the product directly, known as drop shipping, and in turn, the retailer takes a margin for that. In this business, we can book for in-store personal shoppers. We can video call a staff to make appointments. We can even take product home for try-on. They've taken out their sitting area and they have mobile changing rooms. So they can move the changing rooms according to what's socially responsible in terms of
Music
distance.
licensing reimagined.
His restaurant's open for business, but thinking about different layouts, different table arrangements. Here's the Italian brand Pinko, reopened its stores, but has reopened with a special concierge, dedicated greeter, personalizing the shopping experience and blending the approach and connecting physical and digital retail.
Artlist.io.
Today, I hope to one day talk with you again. I'll talk more of the future of retail, but I'll certainly would then talk about the increasing role of augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and so forth. So technology is an important part for retailers to understand
Music
and to
licensing
utilize in time to
reimagined.
come. Here's Mecca. This is another fashion retailer here in the Southern Hemisphere, and it was certainly impacted by COVID with the shutdown of their in-store
Artlist.io.
services and appointments. So they're a beauty business. And they responded with virtual appointments available and tailored towards beauty, skin, makeup, and fragrance. And so,
Music
the second
licensing
part of today's
reimagined.
presentation, when you see this adaptation and you see the way that these retailers are thinking about how to adapt, how to change, how to innovate, part of it, as I've touched on, is their e-commerce strategy. How do they bring people to their websites, use their website as a way to either bring them to the people to the stores when they can, or in turn to do business with them directly on their website. So digital integration is certainly part of retail survival and retail growth. Endless aisle I touched on. This is the ability to have one view of inventory as a retailer that inventory that is at your suppliers, that is in your own inventory, and the ability to measure the movement between your inventory, your supplier's inventory, sales in a seamless live way. And that's about having good business information systems, cloud-based reporting, and can be done relatively capital inexpensively. And that creates more range and more choice.
Artlist.io.
68% of consumers that we research say it is important that a store provides options to order online and collect in store. And if it's not in store, it might be curbside or order online and have it delivered. Various ways of adaptation.
Music licensing reimagined.
I started by saying that, you know, the data is the currency of retail, if you like. And so having good customer relationship management data is important. Now, your website should track that, but you also have a CRM module on your point of sale system. And it's the ability to collect and track customer information. It's the ability to contact customers and understanding their purchase history. And it's critical for segmented marketing strategy and customer engagement. We are moving consistently from the herd to the hunter. And marketing needs to be personalized, segmented. It's less about one size fits all, ladies and gentlemen. It's about having a segmented marketing strategy. So a CRM platform is critical. Do you utilize a loyalty program? Do you have a program that helps to differentiate you? And I'll come to this shortly. Do you have a loyalty program that rewards me for being a loyal customer and rewards me for multiple transactions, rewards me for referring me to my friends, and rewards me at certain spend levels? Now, those rewards don't necessarily have to be discounts. They could be value-added experiences for your customers. And certainly enabling the growth of a loyalty program. And we know that a sound loyalty program achieves an average higher unit transactional value of 3 times over businesses that don't have it, on average. Harvard Business Review produced work that showed us that it was an average of 20% more sales by having a good loyalty program. And in order to have a good loyalty program, we need to have a good customer relationship management program.
Reimagined.
I took us for a little journey around the world there to open up by talking about retailers around the world faced with the very challenges that you're addressing in your conference. Are thinking differently. They're thinking about their customer and they're customer-centric. And they're asking themselves one question: how do I adapt to survive? How can we innovate our offer?
Music licensing reimagined.
How can we do things differently? And how do we build on all the hard work that we put into our business today? Because COVID will pass. And the frontier for retail will be won by the people that are adaptive, innovative, and have an offer that's unique. The next phase of today's presentation, ladies and gentlemen, is I do want to now take us into what makes good, practical, physical retail. Now, I understand many of us won't have shops open at the moment, but I'm hopeful today to talk about what we've called the steps to business fitness in more detail. These are the learnings that I've always taken on board when looking at a retail business. And I hope there is some value to you. The very first step that separates high-performing retailers from others is certainly attitude. The attitude to win. And then the second aspect is the retailers who begin at the end. Where do you want your business to be in 5 years?
Artlist.io.
What is your exit strategy? What does success look like? Do you have a clear brand point of difference? I'll touch on that shortly. A strong brand, a brand with emotional attributes, a strong emotional
Music
message.
licensing reimagined.
Have you got a growing database? One of the pieces when I come to buy your business will be, do you have a clear point of difference? Do you have positive
Artlist.io.
cash flows over time? Now, COVID accepted. Do you have a growing database? Are you interdependent? In other words, can I come into your business and run your business without relying on you? Have you got profitability growing? Have you got good systems?
Music licensing reimagined.
And if you've got all those pieces, you'll drive what's called your higher multiples. And that's the combination, if you like, of present value and future value, the profit multiples that drive the buyer purchase price. But the really key point to take from this is, do I have an end game here? Imagine going on a holiday and not knowing where you were going.
Artlist.io.
And so I encourage you to sit back and think about the business that you want to grow. And that becomes your vision, your mission, and your purpose. And that's also very important for enrolling your team into and building your business. It
Music
also gets you out of bed in the morning where you think less about the day-to-day, but more about the outcome you want to achieve. I had a friend who sold a business for what turned out to be about 80 million Australian dollars. And I asked him how he got so much, and it was a multiple at the time of about 10. He said, running a business is like reading a book from the last page back. You need to know what the end of the book looks like in order to read each page. And so that's the first piece. Begin at the end. Have a game plan. And then what makes your business stand out? What makes you unique? Your point of difference.
Licensing reimagined.
What makes your business, ladies and gentlemen, speak to me? When I walk past your store in a mall or in the street, I typically have 3 seconds when I walk past it to understand what it is that makes you unique and makes you great. And that's your central point of difference. Now, it might be naturally enough around unique product, new product development. It might be around your CRM platform. It might be around many aspects that make you a great retailer. It might be your price architecture, your pricing strategy. Whatever it is, uniqueness means that you're hard to copy. So what is it about your business that makes you hard to copy? Increasingly and over time, we will focus less on channels. We'll talk less about online and offline or physical stores. The future will be very much about the rise of the brand. And what is a brand? A brand is an emotional statement. It has emotional attributes that attract me to your brand. It is your statement that attracts me. It is your offer encapsulated. And at another level, brand is about protecting margin. If you can offer me more than just price and product and attract me to your business and maintain full margins, then you're growing a successful and healthy brand. When I come to your store or your website, first impressions count.
Artlist.io.
Tell me what you're great at. Tell me what you're unique at. Through your windows in your shops, your displays, your marketing, your website, your offer, your delivery service. Every point of that journey, every point is a first impression.
Music licensing reimagined.
In fact, many years ago, a wonderful writer called Carlson, Jan Carlson, running SAS Airlines, talked about every moment as the moment of truth. And our ability to convert that moment of truth
Artlist.io.
into a loyal, profitable customer is what makes great retailers stand out. When I look at your store, is your point of difference there? Have you got good layout? The vast majority of us walk to the left when we walk into a shop. Have you got clear lines of
Music
sight?
licensing
Are you
reimagined.
visually impactful? Delivering the point of difference seamlessly. Your story by categories, line of sight, impactful, take me on a journey. You see, increasingly we look at time, the currency of time. Does our retail business offer our customers time well saved, which is invariably online shopping, and time well spent, which is the emotion of a great in-store experience? Wonderful, well-trained, motivated, purposeful staff,
Music licensing reimagined.
team members who share the journey with you, and creating this experience that I talk about. And then functionally, we have a good online offer that picks up some cues of our in-store business, but can never replace that. It's typically how the two work together. Oh, by the way, I should say this too. Increasingly, and our country is very strong in this, if you think about the retail experience in three
Artlist.io.
phases, the first phase is pre-engagement. That is, I see you online. I particularly see you online. I'm researching you online. I'm using Google or Amazon to search you online. Typically around
Music
85% of
licensing
searches are through those
reimagined.
two engines. It may well be the same for your good selves. But the point being, I'm more literate now than ever as a customer. I'm researching you. I come to your business with more knowledge than ever. I consummate the experience in your store or on your website or both. And afterwards, the third stage, I am part of your post-engagement community. Every time a customer leaves your shop or your business, have they got something to welcome them back? Have they joined your social media community?
Music
Have they
licensing
joined your loyalty
reimagined.
program? Are they still engaging with you? And do you have a newsletter that comes out every now and again, talks about your products, your offer? And by the way, social media is so important, critically important to be aware of and to utilize, but not as a selling tool, as part of these three phases of the customer experience. It's about an education, communication piece.
Artlist.io.
So we work with clients where we're always saying with social media, use it to offer your customer a benefit and communicate the benefit. Now I wanted to come into the stores themselves. When I walk into a retail store, wherever it is, I typically walk into the back of the shop, and now we're coming right into the detail. You see, because I like to see charts, or I like to see a focus on conversion. Here's three mythical stores, A, B, and C. Both have weekly store visits of 600 customers. Store A at 15%, that is, converts them into customers, and they spend an average sale of $45. If you follow the logic of this, store B converts 18% of customers. So it focuses on knowledge, training, staff training, and lifts to 18%. Same number of customers, increases its sales, if you like,
Music
by
licensing reimagined.
$810. Store C focuses on maintaining that conversion of 18% and increases its training into its staff and its merchandise layout in store such that items are similar and adjacent to one another to sell with each other, from $45 to $55, and on the same number of customers has a 22% increase on same traffic. And the point is this, it's not always about new customers, it's as easier and more effective to sell
Music
more to the ones you
licensing
have.
reimagined.
I like to have a look at people's performance in a store, their average sale, their items per sale. And I look at that on website traffic as well. Store sales per hour. Again, you make such an investment of time and finance into your business. You have every right, just as you do with stock, gross margin return on inventory, stock turns, sell-through. You need to know all that. Having good data and good analysis of your people's performance and then coaching and helping them to win is important. And you're able to determine, how do I lift their performance? From low transactions per hour,
Music
low items per
licensing
sale, low average
reimagined.
dollars, low conversion rate. I won't go through all this. I'll send this out with Joseph. But the point being, often it's about product knowledge. It's about understanding the product, features and benefits that stop our staff from being more successful. And pardon me for not putting your country's team here, but you always want to create an environment where you're playing to win. So strategy is important because it determines the future roadmap. Strategy should always be your unique point of difference, revisited, your innovation, your uniqueness. Strategy is really another
Music
name for tomorrow's
licensing
numbers.
reimagined.
And you have to take into account all the tailwind, headwinds of a changing world, COVID, technology, political, social, all the ramifications of the world we live in. In the business, those tactics that you're supporting your strategy should
Music
develop
licensing
into the
reimagined.
goals for your business. Goals should be those SMART goals, stock level goals, number of customers, how many customers onto your loyalty program. And if you set goals for your teams and encourage them to win, I'll move fairly quickly so that time doesn't take us away. Do in the bottom, in your business, encourage performance. Measure sales. And measure the performance of your business. On one last comment, keep an eye on your stock levels because you want to achieve stock turn benchmarks that are relevant to your category. You buy too much stock, you allow your stock to age, it hurts your cash flow, hurts your freshness. Stock is about rotation. Get it in, turn it over. Make sure that, depending on your business model, you have got no more than 10 to 15% of stock that's over 9 to 12 months of age. Turn it over. And always try to sell at least half of what you buy before you pay for it. And if I can leave you with one thought, ladies and gentlemen, the great Charles Darwin said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, but rather that which is most adaptable to change. I wish you every success with your conference. I wish you every success with your business. I applaud the theme of your conference, and I'm delighted to be with you today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
The first question I got here says, how can you balance between maintaining reliable profit margin and a selling price a bit higher than the competitors? The next question, what is the future of walk-in book or stationery stores? Do they exist in drop shopping mode or existing best practice that you can share, sir? Thank you.
Okay. The first question was about pricing strategy and being competitive whilst our competitors. So the point I'd make here is that I Really in our core lines, we are competitive, rearranging trading terms and seeking the margins that we need to. It might mean carrying less buying power with less suppliers. If I was with you, I'd be talking about your supply channel. Then I'd be looking at your differentiated brand and the value you offer your customers, as we talked about today. What can you do that is over and above? The next piece is to look at your mix of business and see where you are competitive, where you can specialize, and if you are uncompetitive and forced to be uncompetitive, reduce the lines that you're uncompetitive in, increase the lines that you are competitive in. Now, I apologize, it's a very high level answer because I'm not studying your business, but it's certainly about your mix of business, your brand positioning, uniqueness, and work with suppliers. We've seen a resurgence in bookstores and book businesses and stationery businesses in many countries. When online really started to hit, everyone talked about the death of the bookstore business. Now, some of the more successful bookstore businesses that I've worked with and seen have tended to have a good database, grow their database, understand that segments of their customers' purchase behavior, the genre of book, the genre of author, and they've tended to create segmented databases to go to those people and loyalty programs. They've also tended to make their bookstores interesting. I used to run a book business actually many years ago. Signings by authors, focusing on certain categories like kids' books and education books. So they have taken the one size fits all, which puts them in direct competition with online, and made them far more segmented, tailored, and interesting in store. Again, I'd have to study your particular business, but it would be in that vein. Stationery has seen a resurgence with COVID because more people are working from home than ever before. More people are certainly buying more stationery. And there's a subcategory called fashion stationery or fashionary, which is it makes interesting, colorful stationery that's more of a fashion item. So there are ways to take opportunity and to approach it differently. Again, I'm not with you, unfortunately, but I'd be focusing on my uniqueness. I'd be focusing on the COVID cycle that dictating many people to be home, and the rise in stationery. There's a business called Officeworks in Australia. Have a look at Officeworks and the way that they go about selling stationery. And of course, there's businesses like Kiki K, and I can refer Joseph to those as well for your good self. Happy to take any other questions.
Yes, thank you very much for handling and dealing with those questions.
Music licensing reimagined.
So I have two more questions here I'd like to share with you,
Sure.
sir. It says,
Sure.
how is taxation affected? That's the value-added tax paid to the government by taking your business online. So how is taxation affected by taking your business online? That's the first question. And the next one, it says, in a highly commoditized business, how can one create differentiation, especially when the sales force is strong?
I'm not sure what sales force, what is meant by in that context, but every business has to have a point of difference. Now, Amazon has a point of difference, and it's a highly commoditized business. So it's coming back to what is your value proposition? If it's scale, a large scale, and the margin on each product is smaller, about home delivery, it will be value adding for customers. It will be about carrying product that is good for the local environment, support for the community. it will vary. And again, it's tricky without being in the business.
Music licensing reimagined.
Every business has an opportunity to differentiate. And also, if it's a commoditized business where you can build more scale and depth and focus on your... And so commoditizing is increasingly the domain. Again, many convenience, commoditized type retailers do very well. But again, they have uniqueness in category and uniqueness, or certainly a high service value proposition. The first question was about value-added tax, and I would take advice from an accountant or financial advisor.
Reimagined.
As far as we have what's called goods and services tax in Australia, which is a value-added, and it's the same process online or physical for us. So of course, there are quarterly payments and yearly profit payments to make, which are all based on income, profitability, and what we call the GST cycle. And there is no difference for us between online and offline. And GST is a recycling taxation in the sense that your tax is paid on the net between received and paid out, if you like, on supplies that you buy. I would encourage you on that one to speak to your accountant. From the Australian and other parts of the world, there is no difference in the taxation treatment. There are, however, incentives for capitalisation and innovation and development. We have, for example, as a COVID consequence, we have instant depreciation tax write-off at the moment. Thank you for that question, though.
Thank you very much, sir. So for the very last phase of questions, Nigerian market appears not to flow with conventional economies. How can
Music licensing reimagined.
company survive and maintain balance in such economy with huge capital costs? Just to close this section, I'd like to ask from this end, so what strategy can we put in place to make the online business as active as the offline business platform?
This platform concentrate on your search engine optimization, concentrate on your URL, concentrate on your product mix on that website, be very competitive in price, be unique that I've talked about, and use all your advertising power to bring people to your offline as well as your online.
First, this is an insightful conference with you. You've explicitly shown us the new strategies we can put in place to ensure that our businesses moves to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And through Joseph, feel free to contact me if I can help you in any way, particularly if there are questions unanswered. I'm sure Joseph will be kind enough to send them to me. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you, and every success.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate your presence, and we appreciate your thoughtful insight. It's about 8 o'clock in Sydney now. We wish you a happy night rest. Thank you so much.
Very much, Joseph. We'll be in touch. Thank you.